Foolish mortals, what's up? Lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 2016 horror film directed by James Wan himself, The Conjuring 2. So, going to my cheat sheet. Conjuring took place in 1971. Annabelle takes place in 1967. The Conjuring 2 takes place in 1977. So, this film opens up in 76, actually, with the Warrens at the Amityville Horror House on Long Island. They're doing a seance. And this is the fictitious version of the events of Amityville Horror, right? So, Ed and Lorraine are doing a seance. Lorraine sees the kids that were killed from their family member about a decade or so beforehand. And was it a decade? Might have only been a couple years, to be honest. I think it was only a couple years beforehand. My brain is mush. There's a lot of years going on. I'm trying to remember all the events that happened within this Conjuring universe. It's a lot to take in, that's for sure. So while Lorraine is interacting with these ghost children in the Amityville house on Long Island, represent. So she gets this vision of Ed's death from this nun-looking demonic creature that she's never seen before. And, well, this is the same... She hasn't seen this same creature before, as she's referencing to Ed as time goes on. She's seen his premonition of death before. It's referenced in the first Conjuring that she had an episode where she locked herself away for 8 days, because she saw his death, and it freaked her the freak out. Rightfully so, right? It's a premonition. So, the first time she sees this nun character in the basement of Amityville, she sees Ed being hung, kind of a thing. And then as the story progresses, they're back in their home in Connecticut. Ed keeps having the same visions of this nun demon, and Lorraine is seeing the same nun demon. And then Ed went to art school, so he just paints what he sees. So he has a painting of the Conjuring house, he has a painting of something else on the floor in his study, and then he's working on this nun demon. So he hangs it up, and things happen, and Judy, their daughter, is, starting to see things as well. Well, she is seeing things as well, and she sees this nun at the end of the hallway, and she's like, Mom, who's that? And then there's this Lorraine versus the nun battle in the study kind of a thing, when she takes the painting, and she's like, who are you? And the nun just goes, rah, screaming. Chills down my arms. It's pretty intense. It's really creepy. But while this is happening, there's two big stories that go on in this film. This is a long film. This is over 2 hours long, this film. 2 hours and 23 minutes, something like that. But there's a lot of story to tell. That's the thing. The Warrens have over 10,000 investigations under their belt within the paranormal activities. Whether it's hoax or real, they still have over 10,000 investigations. And this particular story now is in a suburb of North London called Edgefield, I think it's Edgefield. It's about the Hodgins family. It's known as the London poltergeist, or the British poltergeist kind of a thing. Like, a lot of stuff went down in this house. So how it's explained is this middle child, Janet, it's 2 girls, 2 boys, a single mom, in this, colonial British house in North London, in Edgefield. Janet's being possessed, taken over, manipulated, used by this old guy named Bill Wilkins, right? Who's been dead, but this was his house before they moved in, but he's been dead for quite some time. And he's just doing all these crazy things. But then also there's like this crooked man character who pops up from one of the younger kids' toys. Just a lot of stuff goes on. A lot of things get thrown. The kids get thrown around. A lot of toys come to life. Like, it's a lot of jump scares. The old guy likes to bite everybody, like, on their arms or on their shoulders, and like a lot of hell breaks loose. But then Janet sometimes has the voice of this Bill character, and she's an 11-year-old girl. So why does she sound like she's a 70-year-old man when she's an 11-year-old girl? So a priest in Connecticut brings Ed and Lorraine the tapes of Janet speaking as this old guy, and the priest is saying, so what do you hear? And then Ed's like, well, he seems a little bit senile, he's a little bit agitated, etc. And then the priest is like, this is an 11-year-old girl, and the two of them just look at each other and like, oh. So then the church wants them to investigate to see if this is a hoax or not, because while all of this is going on in London, the Warrens are doing a TV circuit talking about their investigations, and a lot of people are calling them hoaxes or kooks, but they're not. It's actual investigation within the paranormal science, so it's a lot going on. So then December 1977, within our timeline of story, they fly to London. They're on the, they get to the house. All hell breaks loose all over the place. But it turns out at one point they catch Janet flipping tables and throwing knives, claiming it was a demon, but it actually wasn't. It wasn't a ghost. Then it's revealed to her siblings that this old guy Bill was forcing her to get rid of everybody, or he would kill the whole family. Right. So then, as other muffled conversations are going with this Bill character through Janet's voice on Ed and Lorraine's parts, Ed gets an idea to cross the audio tapes, and when he crosses the audio tapes, he hears the full message that, like, please help, it won't let me go, or something like that. And Lorraine's like, oh shit, like, I know what's going on. Again, I'm getting chills. These movies, like, creep me to creep out because, like, of how they're portrayed. I mean, yes, there's jump scares, and yes, I jump every time there's a jump scare, but, like, the level of haunt is, like, creepy because, like, I understand it. So it's creepy seeing what I know portrayed on screen so accurately and so horrifyingly accurate. So hits home, hits close to home, let's put it that way. Anywho, so then there's massive battles going on, a couple days before Christmas. There's, like, all hell breaks loose. And then it's a matter of Ed trying to save Janet as she's falling out of a window, and about to be pierced by this tree trunk, which is then the premonition of Ed's actual death from this nun demon character. Lorraine is facing this nun demon character, and she's like, what's your name? And she's like, I know your name. You told me your name. In that office. And that screaming was when that demon told Lorraine its name. When you know the creature's name, you have power over its dominion. You can, command it to do whatever the F you want. So she opens up her Bible, because that's where she wrote it down, and the name is Valak. Now, we were talking about Valak in other things, but like I said, there's a difference between the Valak demon as the nun character compared to the Ram demon as the Annabelle demon, along with the girl ghosts, plural, who are attached to this Annabelle, right? There's a lot of stuff going on with Annabelle. We'll talk more about Annabelle, because we gotta watch Creation next. It's another, so many Conjuring films. So Lorraine shouts to Valak that, I have dominion over you, you're going back to hell where you belong, stuff like that. So she saves Ed, she saves Janet. They all are huggy, lovey-dovey and huggy again, and, like, the day is saved, right? And there's happy music at the end. But the score of this film and the cinematography is just so disturbing and so creepy, and the lighting is great, and the makeup and the costume and the special effects. It's just, it all comes together so beautifully and so disturbingly accurate that it's hard to watch, especially at night. And now I gotta sleep. That's gonna be fun. So yeah, it's a roller coaster of emotion when you watch these films, because you're like, oh damn, like this shit's getting real, like real heart to heart, real home to home. Like when Lorraine is yelling to Ed behind the basement door, the cellar door as they call it, she's on one side, Ed's on the other, it's locked. The neighbor guy has to go get an axe to, like, chop it down, and she's like, please don't leave me, like, I need you to stay, or something like that. Like, and this, like, gentle, like, depressing music is playing. You're like, oh my god, like kills you, because then you're in your mind, you're like, okay, like, there's this person that I've asked them not to leave, but they, betrayed me anyway, or, like, this kind of scenario. And, like, when it doesn't matter if you're an introvert, an extrovert, somewhere in between, like, trust is trust. Respect is earned. Respect's not just given, right? So, like, when someone betrays that trust, when someone, like, leaves you to dry when you thought something's real, or, like, when you love someone so much and you don't want them to get hurt and they're putting themselves in danger, it hurts. And when Lorraine is begging him not to do this alone, not to go, that she is scared, you feel it. You feel it. And that's acting. That's talent right there. The two of them are fantastic together as husband and wife, and Lorraine Warren, and Vera and Pat are just a dynamic duo, and I want them to make millions more of these Conjuring films as Ed and Lorraine Warren, because they're just so perfectly balanced within their acting abilities and their believability for the audience. Because I don't get this worked up about talking about certain actors and actresses working together, right? I mean, obviously, I've preached the hell out of Zac Efron, but that's Zac Efron. He's on his own platform, right? This is different. This is art imitating life to a full screen accurate extent, right? I can't even get words out. It's scary to watch these films because of how human they are. I think that's the best way to say it. It's really the best way to say it. It's scary to watch these films because of how human they are. Rough. I need a blankie. I need to hug some pillow. I'll hug this turtle later. I'll hug Crush later. Crush and I have been through a lot. Crush. I've got Crush. Montauk. 2008. Fall 2008. The last September weekend 2008. That's when I got Crush, from the Montauk Lighthouse. And I hug him every time there's a scary movie. It's Crush. He's Crush. You know? He's good. Anyway. Yeah, so Annabelle Creation is next. Like, year the movies came out. That came out in 2017. The Nun in 2018. Curse of La Llorona is 2019, as well as Annabelle Comes Home 2019. So this is the first year, technically 2019, that 2 Conjuring films came back to back. So we technically had one every year except for 2015. 2015 we didn't have anything. That was a long time. Yeah. What do you guys think of Conjuring 2? Kind of went on for a while, but you gotta go on for a while. These are important films to talk about because of how real and human they are. Like, they hit the soul. Like, I've been nervous to talk about these for a while, because of how deep I need to talk. But it is what it is. Sometimes you can laugh and joke around, but sometimes you need to be serious. And these are one of those moments where these reviews are serious, because this shit happens. Not 100% to the full extent of what the story is giving, but it happens. Your guard's got to be up. You got to be defensive. You got to know how to react. Fight or flight. You got to be the fight. The light out is my cue. Mucho mahalo, guys.